great Thursday night. We got Miss Risky on the show tonight. Also, follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Periscope. Share it with your friends to let them know that we live on the show. Yes, you did read the title right. We're going to be talking about how do you feel about these big companies getting this PPP grant, and also major hotel chain have been sued because they're connected to human trafficking. Want to know how you feel about it? So go ahead and send your chat in, your comments, your question, and let's get this party started. Miss Risky, welcome to the show. Welcome,
Thank
welcome,
you.
welcome. How was your week this week?
Uh, Chaotic, but that's to be expected in payroll.
Hey, trust me, I understand. I feel you on that. Um, man, today had been a crazy day.
Yeah,
Um, I I know we discussed what we're going to talk about tonight, but it's open for we could discuss about what's on your mind. But man, I seen this video earlier today on Instagram, and it had a warning out for sisters that are traveling, and this happened in Miami, Florida. I believe the hotel was a resident inn, and it was a group of sisters on a girls' trip, and I guess this happened about a week or so ago. Yeah, they was on a girls' trip, and while they're on this trip, it's like, hey, um, they in a room chilling. Then all of a sudden, they door open up. Some guys walk in, and they ask. I'm not gonna say the name, but they asked for a particular person, and they didn't know who these guys were. So they end up leaving. They end up leaving, and the the guys end up leaving out the room. Now, kind of find out when the young ladies made it down to the front desk, they asking the guy about it, and the hotel clerk was like, "Hey, um, yeah, they came. They said they needed some extra sheets." And the young ladies was like, "Wait a minute, we've been here all week. You never seen any guys come into our room. Not only that, the person did not know my last name. They just gave you a room number, but you give them a key to my room." And gave them a key and came up. And I listened, I paid attention to the video. Of course, the young lady did file a police report. Um, the police came out, and as they talking with the guy, kind of find out the two guys gave him $100 bill, and he's like, "What is this for?" He was like, "Oh, I'm just trying to tip you." Now, bad enough you went and gave someone key to their room to a complete stranger.
right.
Then you turn around, you accept $100 from them. And in the video, the young lady actually says, so basically, you sold them my key.
Hmm.
And he was trying to explain everything about this situation, but it wasn't making sense. Even the police officer was saying, no, this don't make sense. Because coming into a hotel, you just don't give out people door keys,
Right.
and you don't have their name. You don't check ID. Their name is not on the room. So the guy was like, he kind of shook it off, but a police report had been filed. In the video, the young lady actually said she've already contacted her attorney, what she should.
Right.
And
Because at this
then,
point, like the police can't really do anything about it. As they said in the video, they need to take it up with corporate. But they did go on to question the young man at the counter a little bit more because they're trying to, understand, like, you just gave someone a room key and you didn't even follow just like your policy. Like, what's your policy on that? Because I know when
Exactly.
I go travel, if I lose my key, they're looking for my ID, see if I have a reservation. They're looking at a computer, if I'm authorized to be there. Like, all these checks and balances are in place. And then some dude's like, "Oh yeah, I'm here with Shannon, and we need extra towels." And the guy's like, "No, we can't give you towels. We'll bring them up later, but here's a room key."
Exactly. Well, see, that's another problem that the young lady kept talking about. She kept saying, now the guy said as soon as they came into the hotel, they asked for the room key for this room and then turned around and said, "Oh, we're gonna need extra sheets too."
Right,
Extra sheets.
right. Not towels, but sheets.
And I'm like, that don't add up. That don't make sense to me because I know it been many of times. Um, my wife and I may surprise each other with a trip or something, and if she surprised me with one, or if I surprise her with one, and whoever set up the hotel, we may forget to put that a person name on the hotel. And it actually happened one time. We was we was on a trip. I think we went to Aruba or somewhere, and it was for an anniversary. But um, I surprised her with it. We went, and I forgot to make sure she got a key. But she went back to the room before me, and I think I stopped off to grab something to eat or something, whatever it was. But just went right before me, but she didn't have a key. So, um, and they wouldn't give her one.
Right.
So the thing is, that hotel is wrong. So as we started to uh, look more into this, uh, Miss
Yeah.
Reese, she
Yeah.
actually found the story about a lawsuit going on right now.
Yeah. Like, there are three hotel chains being sued by victims of human trafficking. And
Major
like,
hotel
yeah,
chain.
these are major hotel chains like Wyndham, Hotels and Resorts, Comfort Inn and Suites, Hilton Worldwide Holdings. They're being sued for gross negligence. I know this is all taking place in Texas. What was it, Houston
Down in
area?
Houston.
And they're proposing, with the like a Texas Senate bill, which would hold building owners, and landlords liable for failing to stop trafficking activities on their premises. I know right now it didn't pass because of all this stuff that's going on. Because this is a recent story. This is recent, but they're planning on revisiting the issue because it's a major thing. Like,
Yeah.
like hundreds and thousands of people are going through trafficking, for sex trades or just for labor, even, all over the world. And it's not just like these third world countries; it's in the United States.
In the US. And this story actually came out April 24th, 2020.
Yeah.
So this is very new. And it really got me when I seen Doubletree. Man, those cookies are good.
Not
But at what
the
price do
cookies.
you want those cookies? Oh, they
You gonna
cookies.
get different kind of cookies.
They cook exactly. They cookies are good, especially when they first come out the oven. I'm like, look, never mind. But I don't know. It's a big concern because when we go on vacation, sometimes we lose focus. We're excited about the vacation, what's going on at that time, but we forget about our safety
Right.
of our surroundings because the only thing we want to do is turn up, have
Right.
a good
You want to
time.
relax. You don't want to
So
think about the dangers of the world. You're at a resort. These big name resorts, you saved your hard earned cash to go on these trips all around the world, or, a staycation, and then turn around and it's like you have people giving out room keys without question, and you can end up missing, wrapped up in those sheets, being
exactly,
pushed out in a cart.
and it's kind of it's. kind of make me think, kind of like we got married in Cancun. Um, Beautiful wedding. If you ever want to see the video, let me know. I'll make sure you see a beautiful wedding. But when we made our 5 year anniversary, we said, okay, we'll go back. But the crimes was so high in Mexico, we didn't go back. So for our
Yeah,
10 year anniversary, we decided to go back. And shout out to my crew, my sister, my cousin, who all came to help us celebrate. Had a wonderful time. Mexico would never be the same.
yeah.
But but after we left, I think it was a week after we left, a big major hotel there had a shooting. Some people came up on the hotel and shot and killed this guy on the beach at the hotel. So we have to when we able to travel again. I'm not talking about now because
Right.
it's not safe.
Yeah.
But when we able to travel again, please be safe. As Risky and I was preparing for the show, we started talking about I believe it was last year.
Yeah, 2019.
Yeah,
Tainted alcohol at resorts. So it's
yeah,
like you go to resorts and you're drinking these special cocktails and they're special labeled tequilas, and it's tainted with what was it,
something.
methanol or something like that, and it was killing people. People were like passing out, and they were being robbed and assaulted or killed just from this alcohol. And the hotel chains, they were like a part of this whole thing. It's like they're robbing people, and it's like you can't even go to a hotel and drink, sealed beverages or something from the bar without thinking, oh, this could be tainted.
Well, I think some of it was coming from the liquor they have in the room,
Right,
which I never trusted. If it don't have a seal on it, I don't fool with it.
right.
Um, but just the bar, they may have a
Like a
one
mini
of
bar
yeah,
or
one of
whatever.
bar trays where you just open the vial and pour it in there. But still,
Yeah,
I
because
don't
my
trust it.
understanding was like one of their special labeled beverages that were tainted because it was like millions of gallons of this
Oh
stuff that
wow.
was being, yeah. So this was like they sealed it, they packaged it. It was like a thing, and they were harming people, all the tourists. And so now it's like it almost like I've always wanted to go back and do a resort on a beach, and now I'm just like maybe I'll just stick with Carnival. At least they won't try to kill me. you know, May
Yeah.
throw me off the boat, but I'm not gonna die of like random, alcohol poisoning or something.
Mm. Um, so that's crazy. We want to know how you feel about it. You can chat with us live in the chat room on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Periscope, and Twitch. So, whatever your comment is about what we're talking about, if it's something else you would like to discuss, definitely let us know. And hey, we'll answer your question live on the air. Uh, please don't wait until we start saying our goodbyes to start chiming in. Yeah, we've been having that quite a bit. So, and but it's okay. We'll answer your question and we'll move on. But um, so only thing I'm asking everyone to do when you go on trips, please be careful. Pay attention to your surrounding. Um, Pay attention to. You never know this day and time because someone could be watching you and you don't know. Don't accept drinks from somebody who you don't know. Someone say, "Hey, you want to go skiing or whatever?" You don't know them. Don't go. Stay with your group. Stay with your group.
And
Now,
don't veer too far off the reservation.
exactly. And see, when we was talking, I mentioned to you about an incident that happened in Jamaica maybe a year or two ago. Two sisters was out there on vacation, and They was enjoying themselves, and they was like on the second or third floor of the hotel. So they had the patio door open, and some guy climbed up the wall, came in, tried to. I think he sexual assaulted one, and had a gun on him, and one of them back in her home state. I believe it was Michigan. I don't know for sure.
Mm, yeah.
Um, it was actually um, she had a concealed handgun license, and she basically uh, was able to wrestle his gun from him, and also they end up shooting the guy. So he jumped off the balcony, and they caught him a couple of days later. So that that's what we have to be concerned about. No matter where you're going, please be careful. Even if you're in your own state, please be careful. Pay attention to your surrounding, because human trafficking is very real, just like the coronavirus is real too. Yeah, it's real. Um, welcome to an Archer Racing One. Uh, don't know. I believe. Oh, they're on Periscope. Never leave your drinks unattended. You're right. You cannot leave your drinks unattended. I
Hmm.
don't care
Right.
if I have to go to
And
the
that's rule
bathroom.
one that women learn, but they do it all the time. But also, stay with your groups.
Exactly.
Keep tabs on, like, you don't have to babysit each other, but if you came together, leave together.
Exactly. If it's four of y'all, two of you go to the restroom together. If you have to
Exactly.
go,
Or
um,
all of you go together, or the two watch each other's drinks.
and not just the sisters, but also the guys too. For the simple
Hmm.
fact,
Oh, they
people
be getting
stealing.
rolled,
Yeah, they be stealing organs and stuff. So,
right? But
uh,
it also never fails. There was a story. I want to say it's last year. Businessman was at a bar, and it was a nice hotel. I can't remember which one it was. Um, had a drink. A nice young lady came up to him, someone that was kind of out of his league, but he was excited. Took her to the room, and then all of a sudden he wakes up. His stuff is gone.
yeah,
Like, women can be just as much of predators as the men. So you got to watch yourselves, fellas.
that's how they get you. They find your weakness and get to you.
Yep.
And and if and as for the sisters, um, if you know you have, because it's one in every group, you have one person in every group that drink enough for everybody. If y'all have
Always got
to,
to find them.
exactly, if y'all need to put one of those little child things on them where they can't get too far, do it just to make sure they are safe. Um, so definitely, when you're out and about, pay attention to your surrounding. I'm glad these sisters were okay, but if those guys would have had their own sisters, it would have been a whole different story.
Yep.
It would have been a different headline.
Exactly.
Uh,
Like, we need towels because we got all this blood in the room
exactly. Matter of fact,
and some peroxide.
I think one of them said she was in the restroom and she came.
Yes.
She like, did somebody come in here?
Right. So, like, they could have been sleeping. One girl, she said, was on the sofa. And so they could have been, like, undressed or halfway dressed. And, and these dudes just coming on in, like, hey, how's it going?
And another thing that upset me about the front desk clerk, they asked him. They said, "Hey, um, can you void our keys? At all the keys connected to that room, and give us reprogram us brand new keys." This fool said he want to,
Hmm.
and she was like, "You want to? That sound like you saying you want to, but you're not."
Right.
So my thing, I'm like, wait a minute, you want to? You should have been like, matter of fact, let me move y'all to another room
Exactly.
with a new key.
Exactly.
So I have funny thoughts about it, because when I heard that he accepted $100, I'm like, he might be a part of it.
Right. I mean, the fact that he was just so willing to give away a key anyway, like without thought. Oh yeah, yeah, that's her name, maybe. He didn't even know the lady's last name. He didn't look it up in the system to see if that was the right room. He was like, "Oh, it's Shelby Smith or something."
What?
Like, and she's like, "That's not my last name. Like, that's my first name, but like the fact that you just picked a random room and then all of a sudden just like, oh yeah,
Well, see, not only that, I don't think her name was on the reservation.
she,
Uh,
I think she was the one on the reservation, but she had another person who was talking to the front desk because the
okay.
girl, yeah, because she was the one filming.
Okay, I thought the one that was famous saying it was only her name and somebody else's name, but
Hmm.
that
Yeah,
person name wasn't on there. But
hmm,
either way, it's not right. It's not
exactly.
right. Um, Please protect yourself at all times. Um,
Always use that slide that bar over when you in your room.
exactly. That's another thing. That extra lock, always hit
Use
it.
it because it's
And
like you may have a key to come in, but you ain't getting far.
and then even when my wife and I we go to uh whenever we were going on vacation, um I always keep my do not disturb sign on it. Yeah, for
Exactly.
nobody to come in. And that was one thing the young lady mentioned. She said, we don't even have housekeeping coming in.
Exactly.
But this guy gave our keys away. So I'm like, man,
Yeah, I don't
so
know what kind of service they have out there, but like I remember just going to Louisiana and we just weren't happy with our room. We had to go through so many rooms. Like they kept accommodating us because it was like one of the beds had like it looked like mold. There were spots all over the sheets. One of the rooms they traded changed us had like a weird slope in the floor. I was like, we're gonna break our necks. So it's just like they're old hotels, but Louisiana, they pretty much keep it the way it was back in the day. So the fact that this guy didn't even offer up another room or offer up, some kind of security, like a new key, um, like it makes me believe that he's in on this. And this is, I mean, the fact that he was like, well, we can't give you any sheets right now, but here's some keys and we'll bring them up. Like,
yeah, because
why? Like, cause sheets. Like, they have extra sheets in the room. Like, you have an extra little blanket and an extra sheet for like a pull out, sofa or the, cot that you can get. And the fact that he needed extra sheets, like he was about to carry some people off.
something and the security is supposed to have been taking extra sheets up there, which
Right.
is crazy. Um, but like I said, be safe going traveling once we get off punishment and able to travel again. And unfortunately, looking at the numbers, we may not be getting off punishment no time soon.
Yeah. Like, I'm
Uh,
cool with staying at home because that's what I did anyway. And I only went out for poker and, a few dining, excursions. But I miss like going to the beach, you know? I miss just going somewhere that's not my sofa.
yeah, we had planned a family cruise for June, and that was going to be our birthdays and one of our nephew birthdays, and we didn't make it.
Yeah, the
Uh,
4th of July weekend was our cruise day. We were going to, I guess, a 4-day cruise, I think it was. And I was like, it would have been nice, like, if we weren't contaminated
exactly.
going through this situation to see, like, the fireworks from sea, if they, if we could see them, because we would be coming back at about that time.
Yeah, and I actually just pulled up, man, 1201 new cases today. 1,201 new
Like, have we
cases.
even plateaued? We haven't, we just keep going up. Like, we're still in this first round.
And I just don't understand the governor. um, our president, where they trying to force these schools open.
Listen, these kids, I saw on Facebook somebody posted, kids can't even control the lice outbreak. How are they going to control COVID? Like, seriously, kids are just, especially kids like in elementary school. They are sniffing and snotting, hugging each other, sharing drinks, sharing hugs, sharing all this stuff. They don't know what space is. They don't know what social distancing is. Like they hear it, but they don't comprehend it. They just see, well, my friend doesn't look sick. Look at my friend, you know.
Exactly.
And then there's patient zero walking off, and then y'all it's just a giant petri dish in one class.
And not only that, I would ask everyone, please take COVID-19 serious, because I read a story yesterday. This young lady was from Tennessee. Her and her friends went to Atlanta for the weekend. And as soon as she got there, she didn't feel good. So 2 or 3 days later, she went to the hospital, and she called their mom, told her she was at the hospital, she wasn't feeling good, then turned around. Um, the next time she called, her mom talking to her on FaceTime, she was like, "What's wrong with your eyes?" And then the phone went dead. Well, the next time it was the doctor call. By this time, her mother is on her way. Her doctor called their mom back and said it's just hours before your daughter passed away. So please, I see people going on trips all the time. I see people just rolling free like we're not in a pandemic. I'm begging you, please take this serious, because if it was you, your family, what's gonna happen? That's when reality is gonna sit in. Take this very serious. I've know of two different friends that have actually had COVID-19, and they're in two different places, and it just breaks my heart to hear that they got it. I don't know how they got it. I don't care how they got it. But the thing is, this thing is serious. And all the ones that saying that it's fake, it's not real, it's when it hit close to home, then you will realize how serious this is. Now, one of my friends, they both did quarantine. One of them, she actually said that she's just took another test, and she have to test negative twice before she's in the clear. So she's waiting for the result for the test she just took. So please, please take this serious. All the precautions you could take. Wear your mask. Um, Try not to get out if you don't have to. So I'm asking you, please take this serious, because this is not a game. It's not a joke. It's not political, regardless of what our leaders are trying to say about it's a political move. No, it's not. You're playing Russian roulette with people's lives, just like Dan Patrick. I almost broke my phone when I seen the news where he was talking about um the mayor down in Houston making it a political because he counseling the Republican Party down there. It don't have a damn thing to do with political views or anything like this. This is people's lives you are playing with. As long as these people keep going to these rallies and all of this, just like the last one, it was an outbreak in Tulsa. All the people that have it from Tulsa, and they're traveling back to wherever they coming from, what if it's by car, plane, train, or whatever, and all those people they could be contaminating. You got to open up your damn mind and think about it, because this is not a game. This is
And
real.
that's the problem because everybody thinks, oh, well, it's I'm careful, but they can, you may not have symptoms. You could what is it, asymptomatic and just be passing around your peers your loved ones and not even know that you have it because people think, well, I feel fine. I'm going out. Why should I wear a mask? Why should I make myself uncomfortable because this thing's out here? Everybody else is protecting themselves. Like, people need to think beyond that.
Exactly. So I'm gonna get off that because I'm really trying to do good, but just through pity to get me get me upset
Yeah, and then
because
they have the nerve to get sick and then be like, I need a GoFundMe to help me since I don't have insurance.
exactly. So look, I'm asking everybody that is listening, please protect yourself. Protect yourself because once you get it, it's a 50-50 chance. You may be a healthy person, but once you get it, you don't know what might happen. That's just like uh the actor last week that passed away. Said he was in great shape. And next thing you know, he had it. He fought it for 91 days or something. And they end up amputating his leg. And he still passed away from it. And for somebody who is stupid enough to say that's all fake news, that's politician, that's the news trying to scare somebody. Well, why don't you go over to the hospital and see?
Right. Well, they're
Talk
not
to
allowed.
exactly.
Because it's
But
like, I think we need more fear, like because the people aren't taking this serious enough, and I think we need to see more of the reality of it. Like, show the people in the hospitals suffering and all the ailments that come with it, because it's like having a flu. Everyone, well, not like that, but everybody reacts differently to different ailments. And with COVID, it affects your lungs. It could affect, your circulatory system. It could affect your mind. Like, all these new symptoms keep popping up every day, and like it's taking people out just by random inflictions, and just not knowing how you would be affected by this should keep you at home. And we should
exactly.
see more and more stories about how people are being affected. And I think that the government and just the system needs to enforce like these stay at home regulations. Like, if you are not a delivery person, if you're not a health care provider, stay home.
Yeah, if you don't have to be out there, don't do it. Don't do it. And what our leaders need to do, talking about from Trump down, they just need to come out and say, "Hey, this is serious." But because he's trying to get a vote, he'll never say it. So that's that's my point of it. But the whole thing is, it's an issue. It's a big issue because people just don't believe in it. Kind of like what was that story you sent me earlier about Karen? Uh,
Another Karen attack.
they're all over.
Uh, yeah. This one, she called the cops on a man waiting outside his home in the car for his son to. And so he actually got out his car and she was telling him, I guess, to go away. And he was like, well, fine, I'll go in a house. But then she blocked his way to his house. Like, lady, like, what is wrong with people? Just the fact these people have the nerve to just go up to random people, like, there's no fear because they know they call the cops. The chances of, there being an issue with a person of color, they're gonna have problems. It's gonna be high.
Yeah, and you see more and more videos of some of them. wanting to
And
skip.
and and this will be the main one saying, "Oh, I don't see color."
Yeah, and they want to cough on people, spit on
Well, yes,
people.
you do, Karen,
Um,
because in his car for his son. Call him a drug dealer.
yeah, I'm not that
And it's
lucky.
like, well, where
Uh,
do you live?
exactly. Now, if she came up to my house, I'm gonna tell her one time.
Like, here's Smith and Wesson. You talk to them.
Tell them one time. You better get the stepping. Go on
Yeah, get
now.
off my
Go
property.
on. You better
Y'all
go
from
on.
around here.
Shoot on. Get on now. Scat. Uh,
Who your people? Go on now.
I
Right,
don't know you, but you better get the hell on. I don't care where you go, but you got to get the.
right.
Oh,
Like, you
never
in
mind.
my
Um,
space. Always inciting
so
fear, but they would approach a person in a minute.
yeah, I'm. I know we talked offline and talked about the paycheck protection program.
Hmm.
Um, and Dr. Phil
Pimp.
had well, because I'm like this: if you are a big major company
Hmm.
and you are applying for this loan, and you are a $1 billion company or almost $1 billion company,
Yeah,
if like forget about the little man, because of course
yeah.
the
That's
more
how they
that your
ran out of
company's
money.
worth, the more you're gonna get.
Exactly.
Exactly. So,
And then
and
they're just as greedy. It's like you don't need this. You got insurance, you got all these things in place to keep your business kind of, staying afloat. But it's those little mom and pop shops that are struggling to stay open. A few of them, like they're closing up. And you have like Bath and Body Works and all these companies thinking about filing was it Chapter 13 because they can't get the loans, because like they're having problems filling out the paperwork and getting assistance. But it's like the mom and pops, they don't stand a chance.
there was a couple of major restaurants here in Dallas that actually received the money, but they gave it back, and which they
Hmm.
should. They're a $1 billion company. What you need it for?
Exactly. But
So,
not everybody's
I'm,
thinking like that.
um, yeah, yeah, you're right. Everybody not thinking about it, and then with Dr. Phil um, getting his money, I think one of his company got 1 to 3 million or something. Another one got from 2 to 5 million or something.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. But here it is. You have the small independent business when they apply, oh, they can't get approved and all of this. And a list came out the other day too. A, a list of
Right. Of all the people
yeah.
that got it.
Um and and a lot of them, I guess, when you know, that's that old saying, it's about who you know, because a lot of these companies that receive the loans were people that Trump knew. Um, even like First Baptist in Dallas downtown, they got they pocket full too. Which, I, hey, Vice President just went there, and they
Mhm.
received that loan money too. So, and there's a lot of other major companies. Was it the what was that where the Patriot owner got caught in Florida? Uh, the
Okay.
massage parlor. I want to say I kind of think they got some, but I don't know for sure. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Um,
But
but
there are a lot of, multi-million dollar corporations and companies that got the protection plan. Um, But it's just like I thought when they put that in place that they capped it like they did with the stimulus plan. You know, you couldn't get it if you made X amount of dollars. If your company was worth X amount of dollars, I thought that you couldn't go after these loans or the assisted programs. But you see all these millionaires, and they're just raking it in. And so
Exactly.
I'm just a little confused on how they're able to get it, and then you know the mom and pop shops can't even get a fraction to keep them afloat and their workers.
Because
And yet
there's
we're
a
supposed to live off of $1,200 for what 4 months, going on 5, I think, right?
no, yeah, yeah, something like that. Long time. I lost count. Sometimes
I don't even know what day it
I
is.
have to look at my phone and find out the dates and all of that. I'm like, man, what day is it? It
Well,
feels
even when I look at it, I'm still like lost. Like, wait, yeah, it says the next Thursday. Wait, where are we in this year? Like the year is almost over.
be like every day feel like Sunday to me. I'm like,
Right.
man,
It's
um,
ridiculous.
but I I just don't agree with that. I feel that the money should have been used wisely. Should
Yeah.
have been because I'm like this, and I don't know finances like that, but hopefully somebody in the chat that knows it, let it help us on it because first thing they want to do when it come down to a crisis or something like that, first thing they want to do is bail out the airlines. Bail out the airlines, which they charge enough price if they stop partying quite a bit and all of
Well,
that.
they also have a lot of stakeholders too, and I think that's what they're protecting. They always protect, you know, their money.
Uh,
And when you have large shareholders, people who have financial stake in their, business, they're going to protect it. And that's the problem with a lot of these companies, like the airlines.
Welcome to the show, Mike Hill. Mike Hill is listening on Periscope. He said human trafficking was terrible. Oh, on High 95 today. Um, uh, okay, someone else is on Periscope. Said Ireland gave 350 per person per week and still give us now. See, that's that's taking care of the people. Now,
Right.
Sealand, did they also uh, stop your mortgage payment, your rent, or go a little bit more in detail about that? I understand the 350 per person, but did they have it set up where you couldn't be evicted or or anything like that? You can lose your home. If you know, please let us know. So, and they're also on Periscope too. So definitely send your information in, no matter where you are. Um, but we definitely um, have to protect ourselves. Uh, he said, yes, ball stop. I assume everything stopped. You didn't have no rent payment, no mortgage payment, and all of that when he said, yes, ball stop. So um, he said, yes, no eviction are allowed. Um, so, and I don't understand why the biggest country, the uh, the United States, cannot come up with a plan where we can uh, take care of our people. It's bad enough that our veterans, after they get out the service, they're not well taken care of. But then when it's a pandemic, you're more, you really want to, you really want to open up everything back up in the middle of a pandemic, and you're more concerned about getting a vote than you are the well-being of your people, where you don't even want people to um, vote by mail, but you want to send a stimulus check by mail.
Right.
Mm.
But they couldn't even get that out right.
Exactly.
Like
So
there are people who still didn't get it.
Sealand said no eviction, allowed banks waiting and not to profit. So the banks are not making a profit right now, and that's fine. It's basically they're taking care of their people,
Right.
and you're absolutely right. He said your country is really a corporation.
It is.
Yes, and when we have a businessman as the leader of the free world, that is not free, because this world is not free. It's been a proven fact. But when you have a businessman running the country like a business, this is what happened. These are the things that happen. They don't care about the little man. If you don't have a certain status, they're not gonna care about you. He
Well,
could
it's
care.
not even this one because remember the last time they did that bailout when we were tanking, and they bailed out the corporations,
Yeah,
and they didn't. They should have just given us some money to bail us out from our finances, like to pay off our debts and maybe our student loans and things like that. But they didn't. They gave all this money to the corporations that just held on to it. They didn't even try to retain their employees, and which that's what that money was for.
exactly. They definitely, because we was talking. Um, I was like, you know what? If they gave everybody in America that paid taxes, if they gave us just say 100,000, that's going to boost the economy.
Right.
It's going to boost it because what's going to happen? People are going to spend money. They're going to spend it, but that would never happen. Um, Ceylon asked, didn't Trump go bankrupt 6 times? Yeah.
It's five
Um,
or six times, wasn't it?
it had been a lot of times.
Mhm.
And speaking of Trump, I got a message earlier that uh, the prosecutor in New York is going to be able to see his taxes. Finally, going to be able to see his taxes. Congress won't be able to see it yet. He haven't made a decision about it, but the prosecutor in New York is going to see it based upon a case. So we might hear a lot of stuff come on out of there. It had been
I don't believe it
rumored,
when I see it or hear it.
yeah, it been alleged, it been alleged that he actually had to pay some folks off for sexual misconduct, some parents off for sexual misconduct. So allegedly, I wasn't there, but it's supposed to be in his taxes where he had to pay all this money. Um, Sealand also said they don't understand if people are poor, they cannot spend. Exactly. If 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 the U.S. because if they gave everyone who filed for taxes gave everybody 100,000, it still would not add up to the money that they gave in the last bailout. Matter of fact, I think I seen in the last bailout they said they could have gave everybody $1 million, and we still wouldn't have been as much. So um, you're right. It, they don't understand it. That's because when when you are um, have money, when you have money like that, you don't care about the small man because you're looking down on them. But what a lot of people fail to realize, when your day come and you have to go meet your maker, you can have all the money in the world. It won't make a difference. You can't take it with you. You
Yeah.
definitely cannot
But it's
take it
almost
with
like
you.
they need someone to be under them. It's like you have all this money and all this power, but you're not putting it to good use. at
e-
the cost of, keeping the little man down.
exactly. So, Celine, I definitely want to thank you for your comments. Share it with a friend. We're on Monday nights and Thursday night, 8 p.m. Central Time. I'm not sure what time it is over there, but definitely tune in. Let a friend know. And I normally try to come back on another night within the week. So just depends on what's going on in the world. So definitely let your friends know. We appreciate you for tuning in, and keep your comments coming. We definitely love the feedback, and welcome to the show. Keep coming. But you mentioned earlier about um, what was that? Oklahoma.
Yeah, it looks like they, no, what was the story? They won a suit, I guess, trying to get I want to say it's 19 million acres of land in Oklahoma. Um, to, I guess, reclaim it.
Mm,
But I think there's more to it than just the area. I want to say they're discussing like the separation of their laws versus the state and how much involvement they have in their policies and enforcing federal regulations. So yeah, they were able to consider the land um, sacred land, and it's most of the eastern part of Oklahoma. So that's something that they're going through. Um, so yeah, I was trying to research more of it to see what else was going on because it looked like this has been a battle that they've gone through um, for a long time, and this state was reneging on their agreement.
okay. Um, which that happens quite a bit
Right,
because let the truth be told, and some people try to argue about it. Um, it was Native American here before
right,
old Chris came up and stole it uh, on that
right. And
Thanksgiving.
so
So,
yeah, so like I said, most of it is partly the area. It's sacred lands, and also one of the treaties. I guess it was from 1836 treaty art. Um, the Indians shall be allowed to govern themselves,
mm,
but the state is all up in the Native Americans. You know what's
okay.
you know enforcing laws, and they have like these court documents from the 1800s saying no, this is our land to do what we want with it. It was ours before you came here. We had our own laws, we had our own governing actions. Let us be. And the state wouldn't let them be.
Sealand, he been. I don't know if it's male or female by the name. I'm not sure. But it said it's 2 a.m. there in Ireland.
Yeah, I think
Said
there's a 6 hour difference.
yeah.
Yeah,
Said thank you to both. And yeah, he land in Oklahoma or native land. Yes, they are. Tribal land include Oklahoma City. Yes, most of, far as I know, Oklahoma is, um, and also um, even the casinos there. They're actually on Indian Reserve. If I want to say they also own the biggest casino up there. Um, they own that because I remember several years back when they purchased uh, Lone Star Park. They said the only way we would purchase it, lest we could get a casino here. So I don't know what the status is on that, but hey, I just don't know. But at the same time, um, it's so much that is people have stole so much land in the past, um, even from um, uh, no, I'm not aware of that. I'll talk about it in a minute. Um, but people have stole so much land in the past where it's actually become um, American was stolen
Right.
from the beginning.
And that's what I don't understand. Like, I remember having a conversation with one of my poker buddies, upper middle class, has property in Florida on the lake and then a home in DFW, area. And we were just talking about, I was like, how did the people just take land that wasn't theirs? And he just goes, well, because they have deeds. But how did they get deeds on something they didn't own? And he was like, well, the courts gave it to them. So it's theirs. They paid for these deeds on this land.
Well,
And he just didn't get it. I'm like, but how do you enforce something that's not yours? Like, I can just go to somebody's house and it's like, well, I went to the courts and they said this house is mine now. So you got to get out.
but see, hold on though.
It's a legal document.
I'm gonna tell you how it happened because when you said it, it came to me. Um, so how they did that was, first of all, they came over here and decided they was gonna do a Thanksgiving dinner, whatever, a feast. And then once they did what did, they put their friends, you know, legal positions. So of course they the ones that signed the deed over to them and their family. But then they're gonna turn around and they decide they're gonna bring um, um, our ancestors over. And when they brought them over, they want to get 400 years of free labor. Now, unfortunately, some people are still enslaved. So, with what's going on today, as for in America, um, it's one of those things where we see people that other races they get paid for this problems that happen to them and all of that during that time. But here it is. African Americans have been in it for was what almost 400 years or
A
something.
little over
But
400. Just the struggle is real. Like, even
exactly.
though we've come a long way, we still have a long way to go.
So, no, I wasn't aware there is a fundraising for the tribes in Sudi, Dakota. Uh, 200,000 raised so far. No, I wasn't aware of that. Uh, he also said they print the deeds.
Yeah. But it's just like, again, you have these people just coming from other lands, you know, taking territory and claiming it and saying, all right, well, this is mine. I have a legal document gone. And then going over to another country, kidnapping people,
Exactly.
killing them, bringing them over for free labor and saying, you know what? They're not really people. They're like cattle. Like,
Exactly.
y- cattle don't have laws. They don't have rights. They're not Christian. They're just savage. They don't even speak the language. So they're slaves. They're no more than animals that tend the yard. Like, and the laws, back them. That's the crazy thing. It's like we have actual men and women and children being, murdered, killed, raped, and, just worked to death for generations. And I know other people are like, well, other races had slaves. Yeah, but there were terms. They were indentured slaves. Like, they could run away and no one's going to like chase them down because of the color of their skin because they blend in.
Exactly.
It's like they had terms. Yeah, you can work off your debt for 10 years. But guess what? At the end of those 10 years, you were a
You're
free
free.
man. Your children were free. It was just your service to do. It wasn't your whole your children's children and the children after that. your great grandpappy, your 6-time grandpappy after that. Like, you were born a slave, you died a slave for generations. And, just the fact that people are like, well, other countries had slaves. Yeah, but there were degrees of slaves. Like, they were indentured, which meant they were terms. So, like, it just boggles my mind that the government that we live in, that ruled this world, allowed this to happen.
And for our president to make that comment last week about uh,
Learn your history.
learn your history because we'll go back to it. Um,
These kids will burn like, you think the riots for just the protests are out of control? Tell us we're going back to slave days. This whole nation will be like burnt up. Like, there'll be no more laws. Like, no. I
it-
wish I wish somebody would.
yeah, exactly.
Like, like, what was that? Who said that? Cedric the Entertainer, talking about white people wish. I wish, you would do this, and and then we're like, no, they hope, and we wish somebody would do something. I think it was Cedric the Entertainer, because we just wait for the moment for somebody to pop off or do something crazy. Oh, I wish he would, and see what happens.
Okay. Um, um, Celine is still typing. Oh, let me go to this one first. So, are you saying that um, it's a slave market in
Oh yeah.
Israel?
Oh, I'm
Mm.
sure there's still like over, in our other countries, the slave market is real. Like, there are still people working. Like, we had someone in, I think it was a few years back. It was an African family. They brought this girl over with, for housekeeping or, just tending to the kids like an au pair type situation. And the deal was, you bring me here, I'll work, and you pay for my school or something like that. She never got to see that school. They kept her in the closet.
That happened here in Texas, right?
Yeah, in Plano.
Yeah,
It was in Plano.
and I think it was.
And yeah, poor child. Like, she was everything. She was a sex slave. She was a slave. She got no income. She was just like old school. Like, they kept her in the closet.
Yeah,
And I'm
that
like, it's all over. Like, there's still modern day slavery that occurs now. All races, like, it crosses other countries, but it still exists. And is it? Yeah.
um, he's. I don't know if it's a male or a female, but Celine is telling us that um, it's slave market in Libya and across the kingdom, Saudi Arabia now. So it's not just the United States; it's all
Right. It's
over.
all over.
Um, I think um, somebody did a report on that last year or something, and they're talking about the slave market is well, this track
Human
sex
trafficking.
trafficking is a huge
Oh yeah.
business.
Oh yeah.
That's when that movie came out, Trafficking, a couple of years ago. I think Taney had invested in that movie. Ti wife had invested in it to make that movie, but um, that was that's real. It's
Yeah.
real, and that's one of the issues that we have in all across this world, all across this world, because
Yeah.
um, even I think Dallas is a hot spot,
Oh
Miami
yeah, for
is,
sure.
Atlanta is a hot spot, and it's a lot of places that are hot spots in the U.S.
Yeah,
where
but even in Texas, they had, was it Texas? They had that big bust. It was like they saved like 2,000 kids from human trafficking. And it was like a huge thing on the news. I don't know if it was last year or the beginning. Yeah, it was probably the end of last year. There was a big bust where they saved like 2,000, just, it wasn't even just kids, just people from human trafficking.
um, I'm not sure.
Let me,
I'm trying to pull it up now.
yeah, because
Um, oh, it was 3,000.
oh, 3,000.
Yeah, over 3,000 people saved. It's a video though, and ICE arrested nearly 2,000 human traffickers in 2016.
No, so
Uh,
there was something that was more recent.
yeah, it's it's a video, but it's say over 3,000 people saved from human trafficking in
Okay.
2019. Let me see if I can find out the location. So,
'Cause
um,
let's see, they in was it August 2019? They said 100 child sex trafficking victims were rescued, um, and that was 2019. Dozens of sex traffickers. See, I want to say it was either somewhere in Texas or almost positive, but it was like it was a lot of people, and it was like last year. It wasn't that long ago.
let me see, could they
Let's
could
see,
do it.
human trafficking in 2020. Uh,
That's one I just pulled. I was trying
I
to see.
know.
Uh,
I'll try to find it and then maybe like next time talk about it.
yeah,
And
but
bring it up so we can
we'll
back it up. But
definitely need
it
to.
was because I
Uh,
just remember it was like a big story, and I was like, that's like here in the United States, like all these people, and they had this big old sting operation.
uh, well, it look like the FBI forces on human. Oh, hold on, let me pull this story up. They're talking about sex trafficking and uh,
Let me do 2019 because it wasn't. I don't think it was this year, but um, yeah, because I know it was like a large amount. But yeah, 600 or 6,600 child victims since 2003 have been rescued and recovered from sex trafficking.
now. Now, one thing about the show, we may have topics, but if other topics do come up, we may have to pull it up online and do research right then and there as they come up because uh,
Technology's great, isn't it?
exactly. So this just came out um, in April 24th. It said, despite the pandemic, human trafficking still persists.
Oh
The
yeah.
coronavirus is now working its way into advertisement for women being sold for sex, according to the FBI. So, and they're like one of the spots is New York. Um, da, 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 da. So, yeah, we may have to do another show on this one and do more research on it and expose some things because we have to really protect ourselves and young kids that are listening. Young kids, when you're on social media, please, if somebody talking about meeting you, let your parents know. Let your parents know because you never know who you are talking to. You could be anybody online. So definitely, if somebody talking about, hey, what time your parents go to work, I want to meet you. I'm a 14, 15-year-old boy or girl, whatever. You don't know who that person is. So don't give out your personal information. Be
But
safe.
also they're they could also be talking to recruits who are their age, who speak their language.
Exactly.
They have little recruits out there. Little 15-year-old Timmy recruits this little 15, 14-year-old girl, and now she's being sold because she liked this little 15-year-old boy. Like it's like the new puppy. Like, oh, come see my new puppy, and then you're in a white van
Exactly.
in a cargo ship.
So definitely protect yourself while you're online and parents. parents, I know you having to school your kids during this time, but still monitor what they're doing online. Pay attention to them because all the time I see posts about young kids missing for whatever reason. And um, so definitely protect yourself, protect your kids. And if you're in a neighborhood and you see something that is not right, say something. Say something, do something, report it. I say all the time, record it from a distance, record it from a distance, and be safe about it. But if you see a young child getting trying to get kidnapped or whatever, um, I pray and hope I never see it because I'm gonna do whatever I can to stop it. So definitely protect our young folks. These are our next leaders. So uh, other than that, um, we're gonna try to get up out of here. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. Also, um, got a message last night. If you need the coronavirus testing, Friendship West is doing it every Thursday through the month of July from 9 to 1 p.m. It's free to get tested. Um, if you need to get tested, definitely get tested. You may not have any symptoms, but you could be carrying the virus. So if you've been around hanging out with folks, get tested. Please, it can save your life, can save other people's lives. Also, um, I believe she said it's Friday. I'm not sure about the date. I have to get with her. Uh, I think she said Friday. I I'm gonna find out for sure, but I know Miss Kincaid did mention that Cornerstone Baptist Church in Arlington will be doing a food drive where they're gonna be giving out food. I have to find out the date. I believe she said Friday or Saturday. I will find out and get the information to you. Um, and um, so Miss Risky. So what's going on in your world?
Uh,
Um,
Nothing much. Still trying to get inspired to write more things so I can put them out. Working on a few things and trying to sell what I already have.
so
Don't
tell
forget to go on my page. I do have a page with my novels, riskybooks.com, RSKEE. I can be found on Instagram, Facebook, but I usually do most of my communication on Instagram. And just look around there and check out my stories.
well, that's a good thing. Like I
Yeah.
said, if you are a author, please send me an email. Um, send me an email, and we will. I'm gonna try to get a show up, set up where we can actually give you the opportunity to have you work on the show. Um, Author, musician, whatever it is, send me an email. Follow me on YouTube. Um, Speak on it with who you with, Kurt Doe, Facebook. Uh, Definitely follow me on YouTube. Um, go to the page, like, share, and we're trying to get set up where we can also broadcast on Instagram at the same time. I got the thing in, but it don't work. My phone too heavy, so I'm like, all right, so I gotta send it back and get another one. But other than that, hey, we appreciate you for listening. Oh, here it is. I found the free produce. It's July the 11th, 11 to 9 a.m. So no, I'm sorry. It's Saturday, July the 11th, from 9 to 11 a.m. at Cornerstone Baptist Church in Arlington, Texas. It's free. And from what Miss Kincaid said, you do not have to be a member to come through there. You don't even have to live in Arlington to come through and get free produce. So definitely go to it. Let me get the address for you. Um, like I said, I'm doing all this online. So, uh, da-da, what's this address? I know it's off of Matlock, um, over in Arlington. I want to say it's Matlock and Barton, um, across from the churches, I believe. Okay, it's 5415 Matlock Road, Arlington, Texas, 76018. That's 5415 Arlington, Texas, Matlock Road, Arlington, Texas, 76018. This Saturday from 9 to 11, free produce. You just pull up, they put it in your car, you keep on rolling. So definitely take advantage of it. Um, uh, Ceylon, appreciate you for tuning in. They did make a last comment. So many missing girls lately. Yes, it is. People are much better than government. Some people. Uh, um, Here we have a lot of issue with some people. It depends on who's in office, but really appreciate you for listening in. I know you said it's 2 a.m. there. Tune in again with us on Monday night, uh, 8 a.m. Ooh, I just lied. 8 p.m. Central Time. 8 p.m. Central Time. I'll be on my bike at 8 a.m. So, uh, and he said both. Uh, Everyone else, hey, check on your loved one. Be safe. If you have to go out, protect yourself. Because the pandemic is real. Regardless of what our president say, please get tested, um, and protect yourself. Wear a mask, wash your hands, use sanitize, whatever you have to do. Other than that, I appreciate everybody for listening. Continue to talk about us. Let your friends know we're on every Monday and Thursday night, and I would add another night on. But I appreciate you. Love each and every one of you. Until next time, peace.